world. And there's so much that's going on. It's so exciting. We are truly in the midst of a revolution. Yeah.
Whew.
That's why we really need to get a hold of our identities and who we are, so that we can play an active role in this.
Should we start over?
No, let's just let it roll. Let's just
Yeah.
let it roll.
Yes, man. Yeah, tell us again, Mark, because you have the Onion down in Ubud, but before you had the Onion, that magical, wonderful, fantastic, awesome place, you
Filled
did
with
some.
love.
You were a completely different person, and yeah, tell us again just a bit about that.
So,
I wasn't a very happy person because I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live.
yeah.
Right, and it didn't take. It was all okay when I was successful, but when I started to face failure and not get paid for the jobs that I was doing or building golf courses at that time, that was then when it became like, oh shit, why am I not happy? That whole question.
Yeah.
And for a 27, 28-year old to face a level of failure that I did at that time, like my business was completely went down. It was a really, really, it was a hard pill to swallow. Right. Um, you guys, I think we just got a couple of pings on Facebook. Is the
Oh, we
audio
do.
coming in okay, or?
Yeah, if someone watching, please give a thumbs up if they can hear both sides
Can
of
you
the
both
story.
hear
I
Mark
think
and
it's
us?
you are getting some pings, but I just checked on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, your audio's coming through. It's
Yeah, yeah.
working. It's all good.
Okay, good, good.
Uh,
So we can just focus on conversation then.
yeah, maybe just give me a second because people are watching. They know we're all rookies. I'm just gonna try and turn it back and see if we can hear you. It wasn't until the next day we were supposed to arrive, but yeah, you got confused.
Okay, this is the best podcast in the
It's the
world.
best podcast ever, and maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's good. You're coming through clearly, and we can hear each other, and the people can hear us. So
Okay.
it's
So-
working.
The whole point is that I get to see you guys and get to spend a bit of time with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over this broad world in this amazing fashion,
Yeah.
and get to share our stories over the past few years.
Yeah.
I know,
Exactly.
Jens, you asked about the golf course and the past of before coming to Bali and all that.
Yeah.
I'm hesitant to talk about it because to me, the past really isn't important, right?
No.
And I actually try, and my whole coming to Bali was about that. There was something called erasing personal history. And everything about us, right, is history, right, is a memory. And if we want to create from a place of true creativity in connection with the universe, we need to start releasing our history, our memories. We need to stop telling the same old stories over and over again. And, I had to leave Malaysia and come to Bali just to let go of that old history that I just didn't want to be a part of anymore. And I think that's one of the things that has really worked for me, erasing personal history.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the beauties about meeting people in a place like the Onion or in Bali is that when we travel, we are kind of erasing our personal history because you go to a new place, you experience new things, and you are, like when I first met you guys, right? Who's Jens, right? Who's
Yeah.
who's Niki? We're discovering each other for the first time.
Yeah,
It's-
you don't learn the previous history that I might be carrying around. I might be feeling that entire. I might be feeling 25 years of life, but you only know the Jens that is right now. And what is he
Exactly.
like? And I actually struggled with that a lot. I mean, what do people see? Do they see the Jens before or the new Jens? Because
yeah.
when I started traveling with Niki had already been traveling for a while, and so I didn't even know how that worked. So it's a bit interesting.
It's quite fascinating because that's why I went to Bali as well, to erase who I was from, because I couldn't rebuild myself in my little island in Denmark. So that's why I came to Bali, to rediscover who I was, who I wanted to be, and also being
Right.
around people who didn't know me. I could just create whoever I wanted to be, and
Right.
that was fascinating to me. So you did the same then, Mark?
Definitely. I definitely did the same. I
Yeah.
came to rediscover who I was, and there was so many peeling back of all the layers that needed to be done. And you don't really do it consciously, you know what I mean? We can't take credit for that. The universe puts you in the situations where you're going to have to look at that layer, and then you make a conscious choice whether or not you want to deal with it or not, right?
True.
And so, because yeah, the way I see it is that we're just bumping around life, right? And we're just going with the flow and bumping around, and we like to think that we are in control, but man, we are definitely not in any control at all.
Oh no.
And and yeah, and the faster you learn and you learn how to deal with that, the easier and the less stressful you are, and the more you'll be able to enjoy life,
Yeah.
That's
right?
so
Go out
true.
there and enjoy it.
So that makes
So
me wonder, because you're saying peeling off layers. Is that how the onion came to with the name, or how, or what?
yeah, well, the first time I did the onion the thing was because my mom made a fantastic onion chutney, delicious onion chutney, right? And that's why I named the rest. We were a restaurant first before we became a homestay and a place where people come and it's co-live. But yeah, and it started with that, but over the years and over the journey, it's become the metaphor for my own journey.
Yeah.
And now it's become the metaphor of like trying to get back to the core of the onion, and the core of the onion, at the core of the onion, is nothingness, is emptiness.
Mm.
And that's where true freedom lies, right? When you have no attachment to anything, or when the world has no attachment to you, no preconceived notions, or when you are completely a sovereign being by yourself,
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
totally in charge of yourself, right? Totally in charge of yourself. I think that's true freedom,
Yeah.
to be able to reach that stage. And the only way you can get there is through pain. It's a painful journey,
It
right?
is. And I was,
Physical or mental pain?
yeah, just wondering, like, how do you, when a storm comes up, or how do you know when a curveball comes up now, how do you handle it differently? Because I know you talked about the past a little bit, and you lost your business and because of a crisis back then, and then I know that was a crisis a little bit at the. You had two onions, I think. Also, you had one in Seminyak and you had one in Ubud, and now we have this whole situation going on in the world. So how do you handle curveballs or storms differently from when you were younger?
Yeah, it definitely gets easier and better as you get older. If you learn how to handle it, it's definitely a mindset that you need to adopt and practice thinking.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what? We can't control. The universe is going to throw you curveballs.
Yeah.
Right? You can't control that. You can spend all your life trying to control that, and you'll die a very frustrated person. Right? The other way is you got to learn how to dance with the curveballs, right, and move with it, right,
Yeah.
and plan with it, and always be open to learning new things. And I think that if you think about these curveballs, right, a lot of it happens when we want something to come out a certain way. We have an expectation of something coming a certain way. We have a master plan, and when the master plan doesn't go according to plan, it suddenly becomes the universe throws me a curveball, right? But could it be that we're the ones that are fucking up the universe's master plan, right? By wanting to do something that maybe is not that doesn't suit us or doesn't fit us, right?
We are the
And
curveballs.
that we are the curveball to the whole master plan, right? And as I'm getting older, and as I'm moving more into meditation, and as I'm moving more into listening to my own inner intelligence, right, or universal intelligence, I'm realizing that I'm realizing that this universal intelligence, if we can just tap into that, and if we can just go with the flow of that universal intelligence, we will be fine. All these curveballs, heartaches, heart pains, and all that come from our minds being fixated on a certain idea of certain thing has to be a certain way. And it causes so much trauma to us, so much pain, so much emotional pain, so much physical pain. It manifests into sickness with us and all that. But if we were to realize that we are actually a part of this amazing universal wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if we just move with its flow, we'll realize that, wow, actually, life doesn't have to be painful. Life doesn't have to be difficult. Um, and I think that is what has helped me through all my all these so-called failures and heartaches through life. Every time it has been because my mind, my mind, I was living in my mind on an idea that I was fixated on creating. Whereas as I'm getting older and I'm learning to create with this universal wisdom, it's becoming easier, and you begin to understand why certain things happen this way.
So kind of going with the flow more than taking control is like a big thing.
Yeah, taking control, going with the flow. These are all concepts, right? That we throw around a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But actually sitting down and coming to a place of centeredness, right, and really understanding how your mind works is important, because everything is filtered going through our thought processes. One of the biggest lessons that I learned last year from Satguru, I did this inner engineering course that was mind blowing for me, was that the mind is actually broken down into four main elements, right, or
Mm-hmm.
ways of thinking. And actually, according to Sadhguru, the yogic scientist has 16, but he only focuses on four. And the first mind that he talks about, to us in Western culture, the mind is the mind, right? The mind is the brain, and that's our mind. It's our mind. It's just the ego mind, and it's the mind, right?
Exactly.
But in yogic culture, and they break it down to four. There's four main minds. And the first mind is the intellectual mind, and that is the mind that we study, we learn, we are brought up, all right, and we learn certain things and we grow and we develop that intellectual part of us, right? That mind. The second mind is the personality mind, which is the personality or identity mind, is based on our environment. For example, someone from a Danish person would be, would think a certain way, would like certain foods, would,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. A person from Bali, likewise, right?
Yeah.
Or football teams is another great analogy of that. Identity thinking, right? And identity thinking is so powerful that even people fight wars based on that, right?
Very true.
I'm English, you're German, or you're American, and we fought World War II, and how many people had to fucking die out of the whole thing because of identity, right?
True.
So that's the identity mind. And then the third mind is our genetic mind, right? And this is mind blowing. The genetic mind is the mind that's within the memory that is within our cells, right? And actually, everything is memory, right? Everything that we know in terms of our mind is memory. Intellectual mind is memory, that what you learn from school. Even your name, you have to remember your name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personality mind, you have to learn how to sing, or identity mind, you have to learn how to sing the school national anthem, or you have to learn how to sing the anthem of the football team, right?
Yeah.
You have to learn, it's memory, right? And DNA mind, which is memory also, is the mind that, for example, Nikki, do you know how your great 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 grandmother looks like?
No.
Kind of.
Great,
Right?
great. Yeah.
But
Mm.
right? But you probably have her eyes or her nose, right?
Exactly.
Or yeah. So that is memory at a cellular level,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it goes back even further and further and further because grandma's grandma, great grandma, cellular information is also within our DNA and our memory, our body memory. It's there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole story about, why are we in Denmark so afraid of snakes and poisoned spiders? It doesn't make sense because we don't have them. But so many people are afraid of it, and it's because where we are from, originally, back then, they had those animals.
They were.
Yeah, they were spiders and
So-
snakes.
Yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
so
But
humans-
that's a wonderful analogy. I'm gonna use that.
Okay,
There's
you can
also
have it.
there's the monkey story also if you want another one.
Yeah.
There's
Tell me the monkey one.
Yeah, so that's the monkey story. So a research team did a study where they put a ladder in the middle of like a monkey enclosure, and on the top of the ladder they put some type of fruit, and every time a monkey tried to climb up and grab the fruit, they sprayed water on it so it would climb back down again.
That's just me.
So it didn't get the fruit. And they would keep repeating this experiment. And then slowly, so no monkey ever got the fruit and they got scared of it. At one point, they stopped each other from climbing up. Like if someone, they took one monkey out, put a new monkey in who didn't experience the water. And when that monkey tried to climb up, they stopped the monkey. The other monkey said, no, don't go up there. It's dangerous, that you get sprayed water on. It's not fun. And they kept switching out the monkeys until none of the monkeys who had ever been sprayed with water, they were all in there. There was a perfectly fine banana on the top of a ladder. None of them had ever been sprayed with water. But still, because of the memory of the past monkeys that were given to them, no one ever climbed up and got the banana. They all stopped each other from going up there to pick the forbidden fruit.
Right. So, was this a multi-generational experiment whereby they did different generations of monkeys, or was it just a social experiment?
I cannot be sure. I don't remember, but no matter how they did the experiment, I'm sure it would work the same way. Even if they did it for multi-generations, they could have that same enclosure with the same banana, and the same result would be no one would ever climb up and get it because they would have been taught that it was dangerous. Until one day,
Correct.
maybe some very brave new monkey would come in, and he would be, screw
Fuck
you
it.
guys, I'm going up there, and I'm getting my banana. And then the rest of the monkeys would be, what happened here? We can do something that we didn't think was possible. And that's what's awesome about that experiment. There's so many things just right now out in the world that no one dares do because society tells us, or people tell us, or the past tell us that it's impossible, but it really isn't. It's just no one does it.
And that's why we have you on here today, because I think you were that monkey. Like you really did grab that banana and went for it.
Don't call Mark a monkey.
No, but not in that way, but sorry, Mark.
I'm the one with the big ears.
I'm trying to be that monkey. I'm trying to get control of the way I think, right? To be able to create things that are new, right?
Yeah.
That would break the norm of way things are working right now in the world. We need to get a hold of our identities and who we are, so that we can play an active role in this. An active and an aware a world that is aware.
Yeah.
Not just by following the crowd or following, the activists and all that. No, but actually be aware of what are the issues that need to be looked at. And all of it has to do with, I believe, is all very personal, all within our own circles. And, it boils down to our own personal satisfaction and happiness, basically.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we know those three minds, right?
Yeah, I
The
was just
first three
saying, yeah.
minds. And the fourth mind is that universal wisdom that I spoke about earlier. And the thing that keeps us, this universal wisdom is the same wisdom that allows the sun to rise at 6 a.m. every morning, right on time. The earth is spinning in a perfect axis.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, we go to bed, everything is going, the whole system is working, right? It's the same system that the plants breathe in our carbon dioxide, we breathe in the oxygen, this beautiful exchange. It's the same system that, it's given us things like the Fibonacci sequence, that has given us the golden ratios, that has given us, the beauty of nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is, and given us this amazing human body that operates without us being conscious of it. You know what I mean? Like this super amazing computer, like, and it's yeah. Even the most advanced robotics cannot create what the human species is. So
True.
this is that infinite intelligence that we try and connect to and we try and connect with. But it's our three minds in the front that prevent us from. So that you could say that is the banana, right? Getting that is the banana
Yeah.
on the ladder. But it's those three minds, right? That memory, our memories, whether it's genetic memory, personality based memory, right? And intellectual memory that holds us back from actualizing this and connecting with that. We have put so much importance into our intellectualism, into how smart we are or how smart we think we are, right? Through our degrees or through our successes, so-called successes, right? And and really, it means nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like if the world were to stop revolving today, and even the sun would dissolve out, the whole universe won't miss us. The universe will still move on, right?
Yeah,
If our
exactly.
solar system just got wiped off, right? So yeah, this was one of the most I I I I I kind of like knew this intellectually, but through sitting with Satguru last year, I really like embodied it, and I try and embody this in my life right now, and it's been very powerful.
Yeah.
And when I look back at my life and how I got through all of that, I was kind of doing the same thing. You come to a point where your mind has let you down so many times. Your great plans have let you down so many times that you finally say, fuck it, man. I'm not gonna like I'm just gonna go with the flow and I'm gonna see what happens. And it's usually when that happens that things really start to happen in a beautiful way.
It's very true, even because now I've just referenced back to when we were visiting you at the Onion, and you had to figure out what the next step was for it, and you had some investors looking at it, and it was you tried so hard to make it work, and then when you let go, suddenly the flow came in and a solution came, and next time we went to the Onion a few years later, it was blooming again. It was fascinating to see when the moment you let go of find it. There was also the people were not nice. The first ones, there was I remember them.
Yeah, we
I was
had
like,
that group
no, yeah,
we had that group from Dubai or Qatar that
whew.
wanted to somewhere one of the
That
funny
was
guys
I did and
wanted
I could
to.
feel that was not no they didn't get you at all. And
Yeah.
but just to take it down to where people is to a more low level, or not low level, but more like how can you, as a normal human being who are struggling in life now and can't really find their way, how do we tap into the flow, Mark? I think that is sometimes hard because we always up here, and you, like you said, you want to create your life your parents want to, and or your friends want you to look like, and every time you run into another curveball because you're not following the flow. How do we come into the flow more? How do we trust ourselves? Because we grew up in a society, definitely in the West, where you're not allowed to trust yourself and your gut feelings. So for
Yeah.
me, it's been a struggle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the struggle is real, Nikki, and I have discovered that my passion is about communicating this to as many people as possible. Um, and I've discovered that I actually love to teach. That's why right now at the Onion we are starting to teach young Balinese certain some techniques and some ideas on how do you, how do you gain control of your life? How do you gain control of your own thought process so you can be more in alignment with universal flow, with universal energy?
Ah.
One of the simplest ways is, you know that even the practice of yoga, the word yoga means union. And union, when we say union, we mean union with this universal energy force, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way you get, so it doesn't mean that you need to be doing asanas and all these special poses and all that. No, yoga just simply means union.
Yeah.
So how do you get into union? How do you unite your body, your soul, your mind with universal energy to release, right? So being in nature, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Observing and being in nature, right? Second thing is being in your body, paying attention to what your body wants. That's why a little bit of exercise is always good, whether it's a walk, a long walk, right? An hour long walk where you just spend time with your thoughts. Is that it's a moving meditation, right? But long walks, observing nature, and observing your thoughts, these are three ways that have helped me tremendously. There's no secret formula, na.
What?
Right?
What?
Yeah. There's no secret formula, right?
Damn.
It's about learning and recognizing to what are your thoughts, right? What are the thoughts that are yours? What are the thoughts that are your mom's? What are the thoughts that were your first boss's thoughts, right?
Yeah.
That you have adopted, right? And what is actually your thought, or what the world has been telling you over and over again. And when you start to realize that your thoughts are not that important, that what is important is the stuff that's already going on, the life force that's within you right now. We don't even have to think about it, it's going on. We feel this passion within us, we have these inspirations. That's what's important. That nagging mind thought that is saying this and that and telling you all this drama and creating all this pain and hurt and all that, really, those thoughts are not important. If you think about it, right, those are the thoughts that have brought you more trouble than happiness. Our minds have brought us more trouble, put us into more problem places than happiness.
True.
So, right. So just realizing that, number one, first of all, in this moment, you cannot do anything about anything. In this moment right now. So there's no point why even worry about it? In this moment, you can't even do anything about it. In the next moment, yeah, you can do something about it. Tomorrow, you can do something about tomorrow, right? But today, right now, you just accept everything as it is. That's all. There's no point to allow that tape recorder to play in your head. Oh, why the hell did I do this? Why did I make that mistake? Why did blah, 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 blah. See, all of those thoughts are taking you away from the flow. And you're stuck in your mental mind game. You're stuck in your head, right? You're stuck in your head. You're like, why did I do this? Why did I make that mistake? I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have trusted that. I shouldn't have, and you go over and over again. Or you're stuck on some conversation that happened 10 years ago, right? And
that happens too much.
Right. And then all that is stopping you from getting into flow. Why do you even do that, right? If you start to realize, hey, listen, come on, man, let's cut it out. That thought's not important. What's important is this beautiful bamboo plant that is in front of me, and the way the light is, and then the light is falling on the leaves, right, right outside my window. All right, or the beauty of nature that's right in front of you. Then you start to live your life, and you're out of your head. So getting into flow is simply getting out of your head. How do you get out of your head, right? Pay attention to your thoughts, listen to it, and say, thank you very much for sharing. But, I'm going to enjoy my cup of coffee right now, or I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to just be present. And just it takes practice, but it's an awareness like that, right?
Actually,
and that's how you start it, right? That's how. That's
very true. I actually, one of the practices I had to get rid of my little bitch, like I always call it, the one that's like keep on telling bad stuff about me. I started writing things down, all the thoughts I had in my head, and then I found a solution to it. I just got it out, and suddenly she got more quiet, and I only very seldom get a visit from that little bitch, like I call her. Because I got it out of the paper, because sometimes I feel that we can roll on the same thought again and again. And why not just find a solution for it instead of thinking the same thought? Or even if you, like you said, you had talk in the past with somebody and you're asking yourself, why did I say that or do that? And just sit down and have a look at it and just release it instead of, and that's how I got more into the flow for sure.
Right.
Definitely. I'm not smart like you two guys, so I have no special tools I use. I'm just lucky that I'm blank most of the time, so I don't have that voice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic, right? Because that's how we should all aspire to be, right?
Are you blank all the time?
I'm empty. I'm seriously empty inside my head most of the time. I'm just here. Oh, it's green. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's Niki. What's she saying? Oh, that's Mark. Awesome. And then maybe now with the tech that just happened when we started the podcast, but I already forgot it again. You know, I'm just here now. We're just listening. What's
Yeah.
the point?
Right.
What's the point? I mean,
Exactly.
just we cut that bit out and we'll upload it again. It's fuck it.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. We just gotta let things go and go with the flow. And I mean, that's how. And whatever is keeping out of the flow is usually the mind.
Yeah.
And if we learn how to control the mind, if we learn how to understand how to work with it, that supercomputer that's been given to us, and now we control the mind versus the mind controlling us, then our quality of life by tenfold, 100-fold.
Yeah.
And I have a question because I thought so. We talked a little bit in the beginning of where you came from and where you are now, and I think it seems like you really tapped into that flow to find out what your passion is or what inspires you in life. How, because selling golf courses. No, that's not what it was. Anyway,
Designing golf courses.
designing golf courses and then creating the Onion is like it's two different worlds. Like how do we? I know so many people have a hard time to actually following their passion or really understanding what they want out of life because we are so brainwashed to think in a certain way from our parents, from society, from media. And it seems like you were the same. Like in the beginning, this is the way I have to live. That is what my parents want from me. And then you moved on to coming over here and creating the Onion, and now you're doing this with the Balinese, which I think is amazing. So how do we tap into what this Niki is made for, this Jens or this Mark is made for? Because we're so different, aren't we? But does this make sense? Because you look at me weird, Jens.
I think it makes sense.
It totally makes sense. So one of the things that has become taboo in our society, and it is the core, the secret to the whole thing is follow your heart's desire, follow your happiness.
Exploring happiness.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Right? Exactly what you guys are doing. The name of your podcast is Exploring Happiness, and it's about that.
Yeah.
It's about if you lose touch with what makes you happy, and you are doing A, for example, because it makes A happy, or you're living your life because it makes B happy or C happy, then there's no way you're going to be tapped into your flow. You're living in someone else's flow. Right? And the reason why we have these emotions, why we have joy, things like that, and we need to tap into that because it gives us guidance and tells us whether or not we're in flow or not. So if you're not in flow and you're not happy, you're not excited about waking up in the morning, you're not excited about doing what you got to do, then something's off. Right? And that's what you need to do. That's what happened to me. I, at the age of 37, finally said, fuck it. It's time for now me to be happy. Well, I've got to be happy. And moving to Bali wasn't easy. I was married at that time. I had a son who was about 7, right?
Yeah.
And I literally came to a point where I had to say, I gotta go. I've got to go and try and live my life for myself right now and do this. And good thing that my wife back then was supportive.
Mm-hmm.
A few years later, my son joined me. And then Max lived with me in Bali until he was almost 20.
Oh, yeah, we remember that little dude. Oh, he's not little anymore.
And he's not little anymore.
No.
And that's the thing. Like, really, really, how many of us live our lives actually focus on what brings us joy? There are too many people in the world today right now and it's sad, it's a tragedy, that actually wake up in the morning and don't feel joy. And they're in a job or they're doing things because they need to pay the bills, because they need to they have got commitments to make. They've got, all of this is true. And that's why it's so important to peel back the layers and get back to your core, because once you discover your core, then you can start to make a plan for yourself. That's how you can make a plan for, like, okay, listen, this is what I want to do. This is the step that I want to take.
So I feel so many people, they maybe have an idea that they're not perfectly happy, but they almost always say the same thing, and that is that it's too late to make that change because I'm stuck, But you did it at 37, and you did it again some years later. I mean, making big, giant
you're such a badass,
groundbreaking
Mark.
changes. So what do you say to those people who keeps mentioning that it's too late, or I already have the house and the car now. I already have everything. I'm supposed to be happy with what I have right now. What do you say to those people?
Well, one of the things, Jens, is this, right? I don't believe that we have a right to tell anyone how to live their lives, right?
No.
Everyone has their choice, right? And there's no right, there's no wrong. But if someone were to come and ask me, and of course I've opened the book and share and give them a big hug and blah blah blah. But yeah, I honestly won't have anything to say, for us, except respect to you, brother, whatever your life is or whatever you're living, and if you want to consider an alternative, I'd be more than glad enough to share some ideas and be able to talk to you. But yeah, I don't think I or anyone else has the right to tell someone how to live. Right, the world is already in a certain way right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah.
But it's never too late to change, is it, Mark?
No, never. And like time is another concept, right, of the mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
The whole concept of is it too late? It's an intellectual concept, right? If you are totally in the infinite flow, right, you realize that in the universe we've got seasons and all that. Yes, right, but it's a constant cycle. We're in constant movement. So as long as everything is constant movement, as long as we're still alive, we're waking up, it's never too late, right? Because we're in constant movement.
Yeah.
Right. So when we attach time and all these concepts and all that to it, it makes life very boxed in.
Yeah.
And a lot of our judgments and all that come from that, because this box doesn't fit into that box, and I'm the red box and you're in the blue box, and but no, I mean actually everything is like we're all existing on the same plane, right? In this moment of now.
Yeah.
Right? Where we are right now. That's what's important.
Very true.
Because a change can happen, like it doesn't need to happen in a lifetime, or doesn't have a big change. The change can happen in a split second with a shift in a thinking or mind or something that suddenly twists in your being, and then it's like aha, you know what I mean? The kind of thing, that kind of moment.
So
right?
true.
And it doesn't have to be this laborious, big, difficult thing that's going. Someone could be listening to this podcast and going, "Wow, shit, man, wow," and suddenly something happens, right? So it's all internal, and all of us. Amazing thing. This is another thing I learned. All of us are living our own little universes, in our own minds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. It's an amazing thing. Like Jens, you're just an image in my mind, You're just an image and a character in my mind. And likewise, I'm a character and image in your mind or Niki's mind, right?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But the story that we're writing right now is our own.
Yeah.
Right?
That's deeply fascinating.
Well, it's what the bubble analogy. We all have like a universe around here, and all of us. She has one over here, and we're sitting right here. We're looking at the same thing, but with two completely different experiences, and that's amazing.
Right.
And I think that is something we discovered in our relationship, because when you are a couple and you live in a van in a very tiny space, it's like Jens actually has a whole completely different experience to what I have, and when I think about that, it's like, it always almost hurts my brain cells, because it's fascinating. This means when I perceive something he's saying, it's not necessarily what he means, and it's oh my god, it's it's
Yeah, so that's so awesome, but that's just the truth. It's just completely different.
Yeah, and that makes it interesting to be a couple.
It's just as hard as imagining the moon, a giant rock floating around in the sky around the earth. It's like the same concept. It's almost impossible to fathom.
Yeah.
It's
True.
just happening.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
It's happening.
it's just happening now
It's
over there in this bubble.
exactly
It's
right.
just, what's going on? I don't know.
I have a well good time
Yeah.
because I have Mark here. I think it's deeply fascinating. Um, yeah, Mark, I when you talk, I'm so deeply inspired by this, and I have a question. It has to come up, and it's about how the world looks like right now. I know we weren't supposed to talk about it, but I feel like we need to just touch on a little bit on it because I feel that the world is splitting up in two right now. What is your thinking of it? Not that we have to go into the politics of it, but mostly how can we hold space for each other in these times? And I know that somehow I felt like you have something on your heart you want to tell about it.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time for all of us, right, to really, really get to know who we are
Mm,
and really go in deep and touch that. And it's not until we really know who we are that we can start outreaching to others in an authentic way, right?
yeah,
And it's not until really we understand, um, understand how we are operating within the old systems that we can create the new system,
yeah,
the new ways. And we need to start looking at our lives first, not some big movement or getting into the streets and all that, but just our own life. Me, my partner, the people I work with, the people in my community, and then slowly grow it that way. And I think it just stems from consciousness, stems from love,
mm,
right?
yeah,
And just exuberating this energy of love and joy, right? It doesn't mean you be super duper happy every day. No. I mean, you go through your ups and downs, but we have a way that we can handle it together as a community right now.
yeah,
We have a way where we can look at it, we can laugh, we can discuss, we can talk about it, and and slowly realize that a lot of it is created in our minds, and we need to let it go.
yeah,
And what's important, especially this pandemic has taught us that our health is so important. What this pandemic has taught us is that you know community is so important,
Mm.
right?
mm,
That the connection with people is so important.
yeah,
That we miss it. That we miss it. The human touch,
oh yeah,
long table dinners, right, and
yes,
sitting down and interaction, and a simple touch, like on a shoulder, and being buddy buddy with your friends and giving each other hugs and things like that, right? And we realize how important these are to us. And these were all things that we took for granted.
absolutely,
All these things we took for granted. And now I think, if we want to look at from the universal wisdom standpoint, it's given us this time for us to really go back within ourselves, to really understand who we are. Try and try and try and connect with that. Try and yoga with that. Like
yeah.
be in seek union with yourself. Seek peace within yourself. And then from there we move on, we move forward.
You take you,
But
yeah,
I think for us, this is important time we need to spend with ourselves within. So the journey is within and not external, right?
that's so true. And I think also a lot of people have experienced that because we've been so isolated and we have been alone with ourselves. And I think many people also been, ooh, it's been struggling with it because maybe this is the first time they ever were alone or had more time for themselves. So I think it's going to be interesting to see the shift in humanity from now on. But you're so right. We miss tribe so much, and when we came down here, we finally find some amazing people to stay with, and we are hugging a lot and talking and sharing, and we always tell them about the onion because that's what the onion was all about.
Sharing.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are wonderful members of the tribe because you just spread the light wherever you guys go in the world. And everything that you guys do has always been about that,
Yeah,
about sharing the light. I think both of you are a wonderful example of what a couple should be. Two souls coming together and making a difference for the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you could most two souls get together. It's like, oh, let's get together, and it's us against the world. But to both of you, it's beautiful what you're doing. I think that's the way a couple relationship should be. You come together and you make a difference for the people around you, make a difference for the communities around you. You share and spread the light. And I don't think what you're doing right now is beautiful. This is the way of the future. This is the way we are be able to make a change in the world, step by
Yeah.
step, one soul at a time, right?
True.
And yeah,
Well, we learn
I
from the
take my
best.
hat off to you guys. Really, you guys are really doing a wonderful job, and to see how far you guys have come over these years, it's like I'm really proud of you guys. Really, really proud.
Now I'm getting embarrassed, Mark. Now I'm smiling inside and outside.
But I really think we learn from the best, Mark, because you've been such an inspiration for us. Like the onion, the vision there, the way you were just open and also sharing the light and helping your community where you go. And I think you are an amazing human being. You are also.
I so remember that time me and Nikki were sitting in the onion, and I don't know if we had an argument or a fight, or
Oh shit!
we
Yeah.
were just going through a hard time and starting smoking again and stopping smoking again, and everything was bad.
And then Mark came.
And then Mark just came, and he just talked to us 20 minutes non-stop. We didn't say a word. We just sat there
Yeah, like
and like two small school children. And then when he was done, he just smiled and said, I don't know where that came from. I was just channeling. What just happened? And then he walked off.
yeah, and I was just like, and we looked at each other. Oh fuck! And Denmark, actually, we took some days apart, and I went to a hotel, and Jens still stayed wherever we stayed, and then we had both we had to write down what we wanted out of life, and we came back with van life, and here we are.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about it
So
before.
you gave up whoop ass.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, you just that's why the first thing we thought when we was thinking about podcasts is like we need
We need to
onion.
get
We
Mark
need
on. We need to get Mark on, because that'll be a great podcast. That'll be a
Yeah.
great episode. So here we are. We only a few weeks in, and we already have you on. But we gotta have you on 10 times at least this year, just to have fun conversations and talk. You know, it's gonna be a
Yeah, I'm
gonna
just
be a
curious to
regular.
see you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think this first one is like what you asked, like what is the goal for the podcast, and for me it was just catching up with you and see where you at, because we haven't talked really for 4 years, I think.
No, only like random chats.
Yeah, so we want, and that's why, and then we want to see where you're at, what you're all about, and want to definitely have you on a little bit more, because you're freaking brilliant, man. You're so inspiring. Love you.
No, it's but it's
Well, I
just
love you guys. Love you too, Nick.
no, and then it's just I forgot what I wanted to say.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's just awesome. But I wrote you yesterday, and I said try to come up with a question for us too. And he said, "Do I only get one?" No, you can fire away. But I'm curious to what you thought you wanted to ask us.
All right. So Jens, how has it been living in a van with Nikki? Honestly.
Okay,
Ooh.
so it has been absolutely awesome. I would say it's the one thing that has brought us more close together as a couple than ever before. What happened when, for example, we had the apartment or we lived in houses, you end up sitting in different rooms doing separate things and not always being in touch. I mean, I could, especially in the beginning, I could sit I had my own room, and I played with my toys and played computer or watched YouTube videos or whatever, and wasn't actually that much in contact with Nikki. And I think she experienced the same thing, sitting in front of her own computer, just working, just doing that thing. But now that we are forced together by limit of space, especially in the winter time, you don't even go that much outside. We talk and communicate much more, and in a much clearer level than before. We are, whatever argument or fight might come up, you can't just slam the door and go
There's no doors.
into a different room. We have this space. We have this space, and this is it. So when she's being an absolute crazy lunatic, I have to let her know.
Yeah.
Where normally I'm just gonna withdraw a little bit, sit over here, have a little coffee, come back later when she's. But no, we have to deal with these issues. And when I'm being a complete
Oh no, never, honey. You're perfect.
Mongol or whatever, she's also forced to let me know that you are actually being a dick now, and you got to stop doing that because I have to be here with you in the same room, and we have to, and you feel that energy, even though it's not pushed at each other, even though if you just sit there alone with your energy, it's there. It's the way you type in the keyboard a little bit harder than you did before. It's the way you grab things, and everything is just a little bit more. And you have to be able to be 110% honest with each other, which I really appreciate now. We have absolutely no secrets anymore at all. It's impossible to have even the slightest secret. You can't even hide if your bumhole stinks. You can't.
You always got a way of putting things, man.
Yeah, you can't hide it. You can't,
No.
you know. It's just,
And it was not good. I tell you, it was
I'll
not
just
good.
go out. You can't just go to the toilet and fart. You have to fart in front of each other, and you just gotta let it go. That's it.
It's very interesting. I will say,
Complete honesty.
yeah, I will say definitely you have to, if you want to save your relationship, go in a van because you then you just have to deal with stuff, even stinky bum holes.
Yeah, and at the same time, you have to be a big enough person to just give each other space, even though you're together.
And
Which
you have
is
to
hard.
swallow what the other one is saying. You cannot like being oh no, that's not true, like being bitchy. You have to listen what the fuck he's saying and ask him what do you mean so you understand it better.
Yeah, definitely lifesaver for any relationship. And if it doesn't work out, it's not meant to be.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Niki, I mean, you feel the same way also, I assume, right?
Yeah, I think it's been deeply fascinating because, like he said, like in the apartment before, we were very separated. It didn't really feel like we were a couple, and now I feel we just much more closer. But also, we learned a lot about our task the last couple of years is being, how do you say, independent. Interdependent in a relationship. So because we've been together for 10 years now, Mark, and sometimes couples melt too much together and you do everything together, and I wanted also to experience my own life and Jens wanted to experience his life. So how do we separate in the relationship and still having a wonderful, so it becomes the icing of the cake, the relationship, but you figuring out who am I, who do I want to be in the relationship, which has been absolutely fascinating. And we're still on that journey. But yeah, I feel the same. Otherwise, I feel the same with Jens. Like the communication is much better. We learn how to just communicate our needs and wants. And sometimes we fight and then we go for a walk and we come back and say sorry.
We hug it out, Mark. We hug it out.
Yeah. Because most of the time it's just bullshit anyway. This because you're frustrated with yourself, and then you have Jens there, and then you can just let it. You can use him as your blanket.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you guys have hit on some really important terms in points of the relationship, right? And seriously, I think what you guys are doing and what the insights that you've come out with have really manifested into a beautiful relationship for both of you.
Absolutely.
And one that is, like I said earlier, that is now, it's so good that now it's about sharing that love with others, right? It's about bringing it out to others, and that is that's the icing on the pudding.
Of the pudding.
Yes, pudding.
Yeah.
Or the cake.
I like the pudding.
I was like icing on the pudding. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. Oh, I'm so glad, man. I'm so
no,
happy.
but
you can have icing and pudding.
Yeah. On everything, by the way.
But what is the visions for the future? Like, what I know, I saw on Instagram, I saw a beautiful pool. So you're building something else right now than the onion, or what is happening?
Right. So I have a Swedish partner for this new project that we're doing. It's called Hemma.
Mm-hmm.
We've designed and built housing for families that want to come and live in Bali for an experimental year, and it's designed specifically for families. So they're going to be like 2-bedroom units and 3-bedroom units. We have a homeschool.
Oh.
I designed the whole thing on the Fibonacci sequence on a shell, on the Fibonacci shell. So the round houses all seek inspiration from the Fibonacci shell. The pool does. And it's just been a dream project to work on over the past few years.
But only for families, so me and Niki can't come.
So we needed to make a
Of course,
baby.
We need a baby
Of course
first.
you guys, make one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we come back when we have a
Yeah,
baby.
work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's designed for families, but it's not only for families.
Okay.
But yeah, it was when we designed it, we were thinking that we want to, because Daniel has got a daughter, and right, so he's a very family orientated man, and he's just thinking, he came up with the idea and saying that, well, listen, why don't we come up with this? Why don't we design something that has all the Balinese feels of a Balinese village, right? But have all these westernized amenities in there, like a dishwasher and washing machine, and designed in a nice way, but also keeps the bugs out, and
Yeah.
and those were all those were all the key points into how he wanted it.
Definitely a gap in the market as well.
Yeah, I think so. Well, once once the market opens up, right?
Yeah,
Right now it's like there's no market.
There's no gap.
Sucks. But how can people then support that now? Where do you find? So do you have a separate social media channel for that project, or where
I
can
haven't
people
started
support?
yet. I'm going to be starting on developing that right now, the marketing and all that. But I think we have enough people on the island that would be. There are people already interested. It's just that we're not ready to rent it out yet because it's not. I want to test the property out properly. I want it to be all really, really good before we do.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's not far from Ubud. It's just maybe it's in Lotundo.
Yeah.
Niki, remember where Lotundo is? It's like maybe not even half, 5 minutes south of Ubud.
Yeah. I know a lot to do. Yeah.
A lot to do.
Yeah.
No.
A lot to do.
Lot to
now
do
you
and
can
lot to
remember
do.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. Yeah, but I've been following you a little bit, stalking you a little bit the last week. So yeah, it just looks beautiful. What a great project.
Hey, on the next podcast, you're probably even further down the line, and then you'll have the social media ready so you can promote yourself a bit.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, I have another question for you. So, if you could travel back in time and tell your 18-year-old self something, what would you tell him?
Keep on playing guitar and become a rock star.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have I would probably would have taken that completely different path because that's what I really, really wanted to. I really wanted to play guitar and be a rock star.
You would have been amazing,
Yeah, you
man.
were
People
fantastic.
would like.
Well, that's why I play the onion, right? I get to be that now, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was 18 and or not even 18, man, from when I was a teenager, 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way, I wanted to just play guitar and be a rock star, seriously. And it was because my mom and dad were like saying that you'll never make money being a rock star, and only there's the drugs and blah 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 blah, and you shouldn't, you should be there, and I kind of bought into that.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming them. Believe me, I'm not blaming them.
No.
But you know what I mean? It's that thing. So if you don't have control of your own mind, so the further on that I'll tell my 18-year-old, say, continue being a rock star, but listen, you got to listen to your own mind right now. What does your soul tell you what you want to do?
Yeah.
Right. Which mind is talking? Your mom and dad's mind, or is it your mind? Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would have just gone all the way because I somehow bought into the story that you could never be a rock star and you would never be, you could never be famous and yeah, so
Only the
I
brave.
ended
Oh,
up just playing guitar in my room and I've been a closet musician for so long. Like a lot of people in my life right now don't even know that I'm a musician. It's been like I've hidden that part of me so well,
but that's so fun
right?
coming back to what we talked about earlier, since you didn't feel like a musician, but I always saw you as a musician because you were always playing at
Yeah.
the Onion. So for me, it was just natural. You know, Mark, he plays music and talks to people. That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's his life.
Well, that's the main reason why I opened the Onion, right? So that I could be a rock star in my own.
You're
in my
definitely
own-
you're
in my own
definitely my rock star.
And I don't even pay myself.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
I just have to just quickly tell, if anybody ever goes to Ubud, you have to go to the Onion, or Bali, Ubud. Go to the Onion. It's the most amazing place in the world, and it's so inspiring to be there. And I think like Mark is such a good mentor there, and the people you meet, it's friendships forever. We just went on a call actually with Scott and Lynn, who stayed at the Onion as well, and we just met Angela, who also stayed at the Onion. She lives here in Portugal as well. So once you are Onion, you're always Onion. That was not the same.
Yeah, yeah. Once you're an onion, always an onion.
Yeah, it's just
Always an Onion.
it's a good place to come.
Always make me cry when I chop.
Yeah. What?
I don't know.
But anyways, yeah, it's a good place to travel to, and it changed a lot of people's life coming to your place, Mark,
Definitely.
because you're such a rock star. Do we have anything else? I think we could go on forever. But
Hours and hours.
do you have anything?
No, I think we can just round it up and just
Yeah. Do you-
Mark, how can people best support you guys in Bali right now? I mean, me and Niki, we have a fundraiser going, and we sent some money down to Bali and try to help the locals out. But is there any social media channels they can follow? Is there anywhere they can go and support or donate or whatever to help you guys?
Right now, we don't really have. We haven't really set anything up. A lot of the work that I'm doing is mostly social projects.
Mm.
So we've gone into joint venture partnerships with our ex-kitchen staff, for example, and we joint venture with a restaurant right now, and they run a stall selling arak cocktails and all that in the evenings, and in the daytime we do like soto ayam, things like that. So really local.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity for them to really learn how to be entrepreneurs and be bosses. So I've been spending time with them, a lot of time doing, working with them. I guess the only way is like to help spread the word, spread the love, and follow us. Follow us at theonionco.com or at our Instagram, The Onion Co.
Yeah.
And my Instagram also, Mark Kuan.
Yeah.
If you want to have more insights, because I post a lot about like everyday and life inspirational kind of stories and mind hacks and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, when the borders do open up again, please come by.
Yeah.
Come by and come and stay or come have a drink. We're upgrading some of the rooms.
I saw that. My room is totally different. So beautiful.
Notice how she
That's
says
right.
my room. It's not the Onion's room. It's just
Yeah.
my
No,
room.
Yeah, we're working. We're working on stuff. We're never a dull moment here. Never a dull moment.
That's so awesome. It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
And if you guys need help with your fundraisers or help in distributing, you need feet on the ground or people on the ground, just buzz us. Let us know, right?
Yeah. Cool.
We are more than available to help you guys there. And thank you so much for all the help that you're doing out for Bali right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, if all of us just waiting for the borders to open. Other than that, we just try and keep the spirits up, keep everyone
Yeah.
in a good place.
Keep
It's
people
been
welcome.
hard, but you know that, well, Ibu Wayan, who used to help me out in the shop, like she that it's been struggling a lot, and then the next one came and struggled a lot. So we, the last year, it's big shout out to the Danish community. They just been donating a lot of money to to support both those families, and but also actually we are, I think Herman from XL Launch
Yes.
took his crew and is actually going out every day and delivering food packages. So we are supporting him as well. So it's fascinating to see. I know that Bali is struggling right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bali is such a beautiful place where people are so good at coming together when trouble hits. There's something about those small communities and small villages that is so good at helping each other out when they're in need, and that's amazing about Bali.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And that is not lost, right? The spirituality and the community part of Bali.
Yeah.
And it's also a wonderful time for all of us to connect back with that again.
Absolutely.
That part.
I think these times definitely have taught us a lot. It did us definitely. It's like taking a pause and figuring out what we want in life. It's what I see the last year gave us. It's slowing down.
Slowing down.
See what's important in life. Mark, for freaking sake, you've been such an inspiration. This has been amazing. Do you want to come back on another time and just do it again?
Anytime I'm on with you guys.
Oh
Anytime.
yeah,
So
yeah.
awesome.
Because I think we need to spread the love of what you, or the word of what you talked about today. Stepping into your flow, being more in nature, like getting out of the mind and into your heart, and helping communities, helping other people makes you happy, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So let's say goodbye to the people on Facebook following live. I'll just keep the video running, Mark, so we can just say our proper goodbyes afterwards as well. But
Okay.
Mark, you are my rock star.
you are a fucking rock star, Mark. Bye,
Thank you guys.
bye Facebook, bye YouTube.
Thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook.
Chasing dreams right from the start. Here you are, you're my shooting star. We have come so far from
That's the toilet.
Yes.
And this is, stuff. And then we have the bed comes down from up here. Ooh, look at this
Oh,
pit.
nice. And Ganesha right there.
Yeah, abundance. And then we have, this is like where we drive. And the front window. And then you have like a seat. And normally we have a table here. But yeah. So that was our home.
That's where we live.
How wonderful.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.